What happens to your mind when you sleep? A Buddhist perspective you need to know. As the sun dips beneath the horizon and the world begins to fade into the night, a profound transformation takes place. The hustle and bustle of the day gradually recede, leaving a space for stillness to settle over the earth. In that fleeting moment when you lie down, a subtle shift occurs. The world seems to pause, inviting you into the silence. The noises fade, the lights dim, and the demands of the day gently slip away, leaving you in the soft embrace of sleep. But here's the burning question. Where does your mind go when you sleep? It's a question many of us have asked, yet few have sought a deeper answer. In this video, we are going to dive deep into the Buddhist perspective on sleep, and it's not what you might expect. Sleep isn't just an escape or an unconscious void. Far from it. Rather, it's a transformative practice, one that can reveal profound truths about who we are and where our minds go when we shut our eyes. You're about to embark on a journey where rest isn't merely about physical restoration. It's about awakening to something far deeper, something much more essential. Make sure to watch until the end, because the insights we'll share are not just fascinating. They can change the way you view your nights, your rest, and your very mind. We'll uncover the secrets of sleep, from ancient Buddhist wisdom to modern scientific revelations. You'll walk away with practical tools to approach sleep as a mindful, transformative experience. This video is packed with vital, eye-opening information. Don't miss out. Stay tuned to discover how you can harness the power of sleep for spiritual, mental, and physical well-being. Chapter 1. The Sacred Pause. Rest as a path to mindfulness and renewal. As you close your eyes and gently surrender to the stillness of the night, something profound happens. The day, with all its demands, begins to fade into the distance. Your body, weary from the rhythm of movement, standing, walking, working, relaxes into the comforting embrace of rest. Muscles that have been in constant use release their tension, the breath slows down, and the constant buzz of thoughts starts to quiet, like the last whispers of a storm. This moment of transition, when your body and mind begin to let go, is the very beginning of sleep. But sleep, according to the Buddha, is not just a simple escape from the world. It is an opportunity for deep mindfulness and balance. In his teachings, he emphasized the importance of rest, not as a retreat from life, but as a conscious, restorative practice. In the Sigalovada Sutta, the Buddha offers guidance on finding the right amount of sleep. Not too much, not too little. He teaches that too much sleep leads to sluggishness, confusion, and a dull mind. On the other hand, too little sleep leaves the mind irritable, agitated, and incapable of clear thought. The key is moderation, finding the sweet spot where rest nourishes and rejuvenates, rather than overwhelming or neglecting the body and mind. This principle of balance is crucial, especially as we grow older. For those of us in our later years, sleep takes on an even deeper significance. It offers more than just physical rest. It is a sacred opportunity to reflect, to reset, and to gain clarity. The noise of the day, the worries, the tasks, the stress begins to fade into the background, and in this quiet space, we are given the chance to look inward. Imagine this. As you lie down at the end of the day, visualize yourself laying down a heavy burden. This is not just a mental exercise, but a real practice of letting go. The burdens of the day, your to-do lists, your anxious thoughts, your disappointments, visualize them as a weight that you have carried with you throughout the day. Now, as you settle into bed, gently release that weight. You don't need to carry it anymore. The act of releasing allows your mind to breathe deeply, to let go of the incessant mental chatter, and to prepare for the restful journey ahead. The Buddha, in his final days, took rest beneath a tree, a simple yet profound image that speaks volumes about the importance of mindfulness in rest. Even the enlightened Buddha, who had transcended so much, understood the necessity of sleep. He did not use rest to escape, but to become more present, more grounded. And this is a critical lesson for us all. Sleep is not a form of avoidance. It is a form of renewal, a process that rejuvenates both the body and the mind. In this quiet time of rest, we find clarity. It is in these moments when the mind is allowed to rest and reset that we often discover a deep sense of peace and presence. The distractions of the world fade, and we are left with the purity of our being. This space, this sacred pause, offers us a chance to reflect on our lives, to observe our thoughts, to recognize the patterns that bind us, and to gently release them. It is a practice of surrendering to the present moment. For those of us who are older, sleep can be an act of profound healing. As the body and mind rest, they not only prepare for the day ahead, but they also offer us the chance to heal past wounds, find new insights, and approach the world with a renewed sense of mindfulness. Each night is an opportunity to reconnect with ourselves, to breathe deeply, and to release the burdens we carry. Just as the Buddha found peace beneath a tree, sleep allows us to find rest under the tree of our own awareness. The tree may not be physical, but it symbolizes the sanctuary we create in our own minds, a place of inner calm where we can pause, reflect, and recharge. In these moments of rest, we remember that sleep is not an escape from life, but an invitation to live more fully when we awake. So, as you lie down tonight, remember that you are not simply closing your eyes to the world. You are opening yourself to the vast space of your inner world, where clarity, peace, and renewal await. Sleep is not just a break from reality. It is a return to it, more fully awake and present than ever before. Embrace this moment of rest. Treat it as a sacred pause, a practice of mindfulness and renewal that leads to greater presence, greater clarity, and greater peace. The Buddha's wisdom teaches us that sleep, when approached with balance and awareness, is not an end, but a preparation for a new beginning each and every day. Chapter 2: The Mind in Sleep, Never Truly Gone. So, what truly happens to the mind when we sleep? Does it disappear, leaving us in a void of nothingness? Or is there something more profound happening in that quiet space between wakefulness and rest? The Buddha's teachings on the mind are both vast and deeply insightful, offering a rich perspective on our mental landscape. According to Buddhist philosophy, the mind is never truly gone during sleep. This is an important distinction to make. Rather than thinking of sleep as an erasure or absence, we can understand it as a shift, an adjustment in the focus of our mental energy. The usual chatter of the mind, that ceaseless noise of thoughts, worries, and desires, begins to quieten, but it does not vanish entirely. Sleep is not an escape. It is a state of transformation where the mind operates in a subtler, quieter way. This shift can be understood through the lens of the Buddha's teachings on the 5 aggregates, or khandhas, which represent the essential components of human experience. Even as we sleep, these aggregates continue to function, but they do so in a way that is less dominant and more restrained. 1. Rupa, form. The physical body, even at rest, continues its necessary functions. The heart beats, the breath flows, and the body maintains its life-sustaining processes. While we may not be actively aware of these functions, they are fundamental to the ongoing process of life. The body, like the mind, never truly rests. It is in constant motion, even when we are asleep. 2. Vedana, sensation. Sensations continue to arise during sleep, although we may not always be conscious of them. These sensations could be pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, and they often manifest as subtle feelings that arise in the body or in the mind. In sleep, these sensations may be less intense, but they are still present, lingering like soft whispers beneath the surface of consciousness. 3. Sannya perception. As we drift off to sleep, our perceptions of the world around us begin to change. The sharp clarity of daytime perceptions fades, and the external world becomes less vivid. In the realm of sleep, the boundary between self and the outside world softens. Our sense of identity and the solidity of the world around us dissolve into the fluidity of dreams and unconscious thoughts. 4s, a letter 1e45, k, h, a macron, r, a macron, mental formations. These are the habitual patterns, desires, and mental tendencies that shape our actions and reactions. Even in sleep, these mental formations continue their subtle influence. They may manifest in our dreams, where unresolved emotions or lingering desires from the waking world take on symbolic forms. Mental patterns are not erased in sleep. Instead, they shift into the subconscious, where they continue to work, perhaps in ways we don't fully understand. 5 vi and tilde a macron, letter 1e47, a consciousness. This is the fundamental awareness that enables us to experience reality. It is the awareness that exists in the background, even when we are not fully conscious. While our conscious mind may quieten during sleep, the underlying awareness, the citta or heart mind, remains active. It continues to observe, though at a far more subtle level. The citta does not vanish. It is like a computer running in the background, processing data, maintaining its core functions, even when the screen is dark. Sleep, therefore, is not a void where the mind ceases to exist. It is a transformation, a process in which the mind becomes quieter, more subtle, and more refined. In this state, we may not be fully aware of the intricate workings of our mind, but it is still active, still observing, still engaged in the ongoing dance of the 5 aggregates. To illustrate this with a story from the Jataka tales, a monk named Sona once approached the Buddha, troubled by his restless mind. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't tame his thoughts and calm his restless nature. In his frustration, he asked the Buddha for guidance. The Buddha, always the compassionate teacher, did not give Sona a complex answer. Instead, he offered a simple analogy. When the strings of your lute are too tight, is the sound in tune? The Buddha asked. Sona replied, no, it is not in tune. And when the strings are too loose? The Buddha asked again. Sona answered, again, it is not in tune. The Buddha then explained, the mind is like this lute. It needs to be finely tuned, not too tight with tension, not too loose with distraction. This analogy speaks directly to the practice of sleep. Sleep is a time when the mind, like the lute, must find its balance. It is not the absence of mental activity, but the softening of it. Just as the lute must be in harmony, the mind during sleep must also find its own natural rhythm. This quieting is not an erasure, but a recalibration, a subtle adjustment. The mind is still functioning, but it is not as loud or demanding as it is in the waking state. The Buddha's teachings remind us that the mind, even when at rest, is not passive. It is in a state of deep, subtle activity. In sleep, the mind continues its process of renewal, repair, and release. This is the time when the mind processes the experiences of the day, consolidates memories, and integrates emotions. Though we may not be fully conscious of it, this ongoing mental activity continues to shape our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. In this way, sleep becomes not just a time for physical rest, but a profound opportunity for spiritual growth. It is a time when the mind, free from the distractions of the day, can begin to recalibrate and restore itself. This is the deeper meaning of sleep from a Buddhist perspective. It is a practice of mindfulness, a time when we are invited to rest, to reset, and to return to our true nature. Sleep, in the end, is not the absence of the mind. It is the mind's quiet transformation. It is a time for mental restoration, a time to adjust the strings of the lute so that we may awake in the morning with greater harmony and clarity. The mind is never truly gone during sleep. It is simply recalibrating, finding its balance in the stillness, ready to rise again with the dawn. Chapter 3: Dreams, Windows into the Subconscious. As the body rests and the mind settles into its quiet rhythm, a different realm opens before us, the realm of dreams. For many, dreams are perceived as fleeting, chaotic, and illogical, strange fragments of the unconscious mind, weaving together a tapestry of images and emotions that often seem disconnected from reality. But in Buddhist philosophy, dreams are not seen as random distractions or meaningless illusions. They are far more significant. Dreams are mirrors of the mind, reflections of our deeper mental processes, the unspoken fears, the unresolved desires, and the internal conflicts that shape our waking lives. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha teaches a profound truth. The mind is the forerunner of all things. This means that everything we experience, every moment of our waking lives, is shaped and filtered through the mind. Our thoughts, our emotions, and our perceptions do not only form our reality in the daytime, they shape the very reality we experience in our dreams. What we dream is not separate from our waking existence. It is intricately tied to it, revealing aspects of our consciousness that are often hidden from our conscious mind. Dreams are not just a series of random images and sensations. They are deeply connected to the subconscious processes that govern our thoughts, actions, and emotions. In fact, the Buddha himself did not dismiss dreams as meaningless or insignificant. Rather, he saw them as valuable reflections of our inner lives. Dreams, in the Buddha's view, are the subconscious mind's way of speaking to us. They are not merely idle fantasies, but reflections of unresolved emotions, long-held fears, and desires that have not been fully processed. One of the most profound teachings the Buddha offered regarding dreams comes from the story of King Pasenadi. The king, disturbed by a series of unsettling dreams that seemed to portend disaster for his kingdom, sought the Buddha's wisdom. He was terrified that his dreams foretold doom. Yet, instead of offering a clear interpretation or a prophetic reading, the Buddha gently guided the king to understand that his dreams were not external omens. They were not messages from some distant realm of spirits or gods. Instead, they were reflections of his own inner turmoil, fears, and anxieties about the future. The Buddha helped King Pasenadi see that his dreams were not prophetic. They were mirrors of his own subconscious struggles. This is a crucial point for us to understand. Dreams are not necessarily messages from another world or supernatural predictions. They are not magic or riddles to be cracked open. Rather, they are windows into the subconscious. They offer us a glimpse of what lies beneath the surface of our waking thoughts. The things we may not want to face, the emotions we might be suppressing, the desires we are reluctant to acknowledge. When we dream, we often encounter unresolved conflicts, suppressed desires, and emotional baggage that we have not yet dealt with. These dreams may appear in symbolic forms, as metaphors or stories that our mind uses to process and understand our experiences. A dream of chasing someone, for example, may reflect a feeling of being pursued by an unresolved issue in our waking life. A dream of falling could indicate a fear of losing control or a feeling of insecurity. The images and events in dreams are often not literal. They are emotional and psychological symbols that point us toward deeper truths about ourselves. The Buddha encouraged us to pay attention to our dreams, not with the intention of uncovering some hidden esoteric knowledge, but to gain insight into our inner lives. Dreams are an opportunity for self-reflection. When we wake, we have the opportunity to observe the emotional and psychological content of our dreams and consider what they might be telling us about our state of mind. What fears or anxieties are we holding on to that we might not be addressing in our waking life? What desires or longings are we suppressing? What unresolved conflicts are influencing our emotional well-being? By paying close attention to the patterns and themes that arise in our dreams, we can gain greater clarity about what is happening beneath the surface of our consciousness. Dreams, when viewed through the lens of mindfulness and introspection, can reveal insights that can be used to guide us toward healing and understanding. For example, a recurring dream might suggest that there is a pattern in our life that we have not yet addressed. Perhaps it points to an emotional wound that continues to influence our choices and relationships. Rather than dismissing it as just a dream, we might ask ourselves, what in this dream feels familiar? What emotions does it stir up? Is there something unresolved in my life that this dream is bringing to the surface? By viewing dreams through the lens of the Buddha's teachings, we begin to see them not as disturbances or nuisances, but as opportunities for growth and insight. The Buddha himself was keenly aware of the mind's power to shape our perceptions and experiences, and he encouraged his followers to be aware of the workings of the mind at all times. This includes being mindful of our dreams, as they are no less part of our mental landscape than our waking thoughts. Ultimately, dreams are a tool for greater self-awareness. They offer us a path to understanding the subconscious patterns that influence our waking reality. By cultivating mindfulness both in our waking lives and in our dreams, we can uncover deeper truths about ourselves, heal emotional wounds, and move toward a more balanced and peaceful existence. In this way, dreams become more than just fleeting experiences. They become an integral part of our spiritual practice, a sacred opportunity to observe the mind in its quieter, more subtle state. As we pay attention to these dreams, we learn to look within with greater clarity and compassion, embracing the fullness of our mental, emotional, and spiritual lives. Chapter 4: Deep Sleep, the Silent Rebirth. Beyond the world of dreams, where chaotic images and emotions surface like fleeting waves on a restless ocean, lies deep sleep, a state often described in stark terms as empty, void-like, and devoid of conscious activity. Yet, from the perspective of Buddhist thought, deep sleep is far from a meaningless abyss. It is not a void, but rather a ground of potential, a subtle yet profound state from which all experiences arise. This shift in understanding deep sleep requires a deeper look at the Buddhist concept of Bhavangasiddha, often translated as the life continuum. This concept is pivotal in understanding what happens to our minds during deep sleep. In Buddhist philosophy, Bhavangasiddha represents the underlying stream of consciousness that remains active even during the deepest stages of rest. It is not that our minds vanish or cease to exist during deep sleep. Instead, they enter a state of profound stillness and subtle potential. In deep sleep, conscious thought may cease to function in the way we experience it during our waking hours, but awareness, the essence of the citta or heart-mind, remains present. It is as though the mind rests in a vast, undisturbed space, where the usual processes of thinking and perceiving are temporarily suspended. But this suspension is not an absence. It is a pause, a reset, a retreat into the very essence of consciousness itself. The deep, restorative quality of this state can be understood through the lens of Buddhist teachings on mindfulness and awareness. Even when we are unconscious in the traditional sense, our true nature, the fundamental awareness of being, remains intact. This idea aligns with the Buddha's teachings that our essence is not confined to the realm of our thoughts, emotions, or external experiences. Our true self, our citta, our deep awareness, is not dependent on activity or thought. It is ever present, even when our conscious minds are still. This concept of deep sleep as a return to the foundation of being is also mirrored in modern science. In the scientific understanding of sleep, deep sleep is known as slow-wave sleep, SWS, a phase within the broader category of non-rapid eye movement, NREM, sleep. During this phase, the body enters a period of profound restoration. The brain's electrical activity slows down, and the body begins to repair itself at a cellular level. Tissues are regenerated, growth hormones are released, and the immune system strengthens. The mind consolidates memories, integrates experiences, and performs vital maintenance, ensuring that we wake refreshed and ready for a new day. While science explains the biological aspects of deep sleep, Buddhist thought takes this a step further, showing us that deep sleep is not just a biological process, but also a spiritual one. It is in this phase that we reconnect with our truest nature, beyond the distractions and busyness of waking life. Just as the body and mind are repaired and rejuvenated, so too is our awareness subtly nurtured in deep sleep, allowing us to return to a place of inner peace and stillness. From the Buddha's perspective, sleep is a reminder that our true essence transcends the fleeting experiences of the mind. We are not merely the sum of our thoughts, our desires, or our external identities. Our deeper nature, Bhavanga Citta, the life continuum, is present even in the absence of conscious thought. In this space of deep, dreamless sleep, we encounter the quiet foundation of our being, where there is no distinction between subject and object, no desires, no fears, just pure, undisturbed awareness. To illustrate this, consider the metaphor of a tree. During the day, the tree's leaves may rustle in the wind, its branches may sway with the seasons, and its flowers may bloom and wither. The outward movements and changes are visible and tangible. But beneath the surface, deep within the roots, lies a constant source of life, silent, still, yet ever-present. Deep sleep is like these roots. It is the deep, quiet foundation of our being, from which the outward manifestations of our thoughts and emotions grow. This is the wisdom of Bhavanga Citta, that, like the tree's roots, our deepest essence remains constant and unchanging, even when the activities of the mind are silent. Deep sleep offers us a glimpse into this hidden depth of consciousness, where peace and stillness reside. It is a time to return to our essential nature, free from the distractions of the ego and the mind's constant chatter. For those on a spiritual path, deep sleep offers an invaluable lesson, that our true nature does not depend on the fluctuations of the mind. It is not swayed by thoughts or emotions, nor is it defined by our waking experiences. In deep sleep, we are reminded that peace is inherent within us, waiting to be recognized and realized. This peace is not something that is achieved through striving, but something that is uncovered in moments of quietude and stillness. In the quiet of deep sleep, we find a silent rebirth. Just as the body is restored during slow-wave sleep, so too is our awareness gently refreshed. We awaken each morning with the potential for a new day, carrying with us the calm, the stillness, and the clarity that lie within. This process of renewal, which occurs every night, is a subtle but profound form of spiritual practice. It is an invitation to reconnect with our deepest essence, to remember that we are not defined by our thoughts or emotions, but by the underlying awareness that sustains all experience. In deep sleep, we find not a void, but a source of infinite potential, a space where our essence is renewed, our mind is reset, and we are given the opportunity to begin again each day with a fresh perspective. It is in this quiet space that we are reminded of the peace that lies at the heart of all things, waiting to be realized in our waking lives. Chapter 5: Waking Up, a New Beginning. As the first light of morning gradually seeps into the room, a subtle transition begins. The stillness of sleep starts to lift, like the soft pull of the tide receding from the shore. The body stirs, a gentle awakening of muscle and bone. The breath, slow and steady during the night, begins to quicken as the mind starts to emerge from its deep rest. We rise, not only from our beds, but from the stillness of the night into the clarity and potential of a new day. In Buddhist practice, this moment of waking is much more than a mere physical event. It is a spiritual opportunity, an invitation to align ourselves with the present moment and with the true nature of our minds. Each new day, from the very instant we open our eyes, offers us a fresh start, a blank canvas upon which we can paint the experiences of the day. Waking up is not simply a return to the demands of the world. It is a return to ourselves, a return to mindfulness and clarity. The Buddha himself understood the power of these first moments of the day. He didn't rush from the warmth of sleep into the busyness of the world. Instead, he would sit in meditation, using the quiet of the morning to align his mind with the present moment. This practice of pausing before the day began was not just a routine. It was a sacred act of mindfulness. The Buddha recognized that how we begin our day shapes the energy and focus with which we move through it. When we wake, we have the opportunity to consciously set the tone for the hours to come. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha teaches that the key to waking up is to be fully present in the moment. It is easy to rush through the morning in a haze, consumed by the pressing demands of the day. But to be truly awake, according to the Buddha, is to bring our full attention to the present. Waking up is not just a physical act of rising from the bed. It is a mental and spiritual awakening, a conscious decision to approach the day with intention and clarity. When we wake, we are given the opportunity to reset our minds. We can choose how we approach the day, what attitudes we cultivate, and how we direct our energy. The Buddha emphasized that the way we begin the day has a profound impact on how we experience the moments that follow. If we rise in a state of mindfulness, our thoughts will be clear and focused. If we rush without thought, the day can slip away in a haze of distraction and confusion. Mindful waking is a practice of slowing down and becoming fully aware of the present moment. This doesn't mean we need to meditate for hours before starting our day, but it does mean we can take a few moments to ground ourselves. As the morning light fills the room, take a deep breath. Feel the sensation of the air entering your lungs. Notice the gentle rise and fall of your chest. Allow yourself to be fully present in the moment, free from the rush and stress that often comes with the start of the day. As you rise, you have the opportunity to consciously set your intention for the day. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be today? What will I cultivate within myself? What qualities do I want to embody? The Buddha often spoke about the importance of intention. He taught that our intentions shape our actions, and our actions shape our reality. So, as you wake, take a moment to set an intention for the day ahead. It may be something simple, like cultivating patience in your interactions or bringing a sense of calm to your work. Or it may be something deeper, like choosing to be present with each moment, regardless of what challenges the day may bring. This practice of setting intention is more than just a mental exercise. It is a form of mindfulness. It is a way of stepping into the world with awareness and purpose, rather than being carried away by the currents of habitual thought and reaction. When we approach the day with mindfulness, we are more equipped to handle whatever comes our way with grace and clarity. We can face challenges without becoming overwhelmed, and we can engage with others from a place of kindness and presence. The Buddha's teachings also remind us that the present moment is the only moment we truly have. While the past lingers in our minds and the future looms on the horizon, the only time that truly exists is now. Waking up is an opportunity to embrace this truth. When we are fully awake, we are not lost in regret over what has happened or in worry about what might happen. We are simply present, fully engaged with the now. In this way, waking up becomes a practice of spiritual awakening. It is a return to mindfulness, a return to the heart of who we are. As we open our eyes each morning, we are given the chance to reset our minds and hearts, to return to our true nature, which is always present beneath the layers of distraction and attachment. With each new day, we have the opportunity to let go of the past and to step into the future with a heart that is clear, open, and full of possibility. This moment of waking is a rebirth of sorts. It is a chance to start anew, to release the weight of yesterday and move forward with fresh eyes. And just as we cultivate mindfulness in these first moments, we can carry that mindfulness with us throughout the day. Every moment is an opportunity to wake up again, to return to the present, to return to the clarity and peace that are always within us. The Buddha teaches us that each day is a gift, a new beginning, and it is up to us to make the most of it. By waking up with intention, we set ourselves on the path of peace, clarity, and compassion. With each morning, we are reminded that life is not something that just happens to us. It is something we create with each thought, each action, each moment of awareness. The practice of mindful waking is the first step toward living with greater purpose, greater presence, and greater peace. As we draw this journey to a close, it becomes clear that the dance between sleep and wakefulness is far from a simple biological process. From a Buddhist perspective, it is an intricate interplay of rest and awareness, a profound opportunity to renew both body and mind. Sleep, when approached with mindfulness, is not just about disconnecting from the world. It is a sacred practice of letting go and restoring balance. And waking is a chance to begin again, an invitation to step into each new day with intention, with presence, and with the clarity of mind that only comes from truly understanding the nature of rest. Imagine this. Every night when you lay your head down, you are not escaping the world. You are returning to your truest self. You are entering a space of deep, restorative stillness, where the mind is free from the distractions of the day. It is in this quiet that we touch the deepest essence of our being. And when the morning light fills the room, you wake not just from sleep, but with the gift of a fresh start. A moment to approach the world anew, with renewed clarity and mindfulness. The Buddha's teachings remind us that this process of sleeping and waking is a cycle of profound transformation. It's not just about shutting off our minds at night and turning them back on in the morning. It's about understanding that both sleep and wakefulness offer unique opportunities to connect with our true nature, to find peace in the stillness, and to live with purpose and intention. Each moment is a chance to be present, whether in the quiet of sleep or in the clarity of wakefulness. So, the next time you lay your head down at night, don't think of it as an escape from reality. Think of it as a return, a return to yourself, to that place of inner calm and peace. And when you wake in the morning, remember that this moment is a new beginning, an opportunity to live with mindfulness and intention. Embrace the dance of wakefulness and rest, and let it lead you to a life of greater clarity, peace, and presence.